Welcome to Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. This is your go-to source for practical advice and support for when the divorce process has finished. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll cover a variety of topics related to post-divorce. Together, we'll explore the emotional, financial, and legal aspects of life after divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here's your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Hello and welcome back to Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today's topic is really a question many divorced parents with children can ask, and that is, can I move with my kids after the divorce is finalized? So, as we know, relocations can be a fresh start, but it can also complicate child custody arrangements. We're going to explore the legal considerations and navigate this situation and how to do it smoothly. The first step is to thoroughly review your final divorce decree, specifically the child custody arrangements. The document might already address relocation. Sometimes there's specific relocation clauses, and that's going to outline permissions requirements or distance limitations for relocating with the kids. Might have some vague language. If the agreement is silent on relocation, you'll need to refer to state laws governing child custody modifications. In most states, the courts are going to prioritize the best interest of the child when considering these relocation requests. This involves weighing several factors that would include, but not limited to, the child's age and relationship with each parent, the potential disruption to the child's education and social life, the reason for the relocation, and the benefits to the relocating parent, the other parent's ability to maintain a meaningful relationship with the child after the move. So, if you're considering relocating with your children, open communication with your ex-spouse is pretty critical here. Now, we also want to take some additional steps. So, we're going to discuss our reasons for moving. Be transparent about your reasons for wanting to move and how it might benefit you and the children. Focus on your children's well-being. So you're going to want to frame your arguments around how this move will positively impact your children's lives. Better job opportunities, closer to family support, etc. Now, you also want to be open to mediation. Considering, mediation as a way to reach an amicable solution regarding relocation, potentially modifying visitation arrangements, or support payments to accommodate the move. Now, relocation with children after divorce is a complex legal matter. I would recommend consulting with a divorce attorney experienced in child custody issues. They can advise you on your rights and obligations based on your specific situation, and they also know all the state laws. It's really about your kids, though. Ultimately, your decision should prioritize your children's well-being. Weigh the potential benefits of relocation against the disruption it might cause. Open communication, exploring mediation, and seeking legal guidance can really help you navigate the situation with your children's best interest at the forefront. You really got to carefully consider relocating after the divorce is final. Make informed decisions, communicate with your ex, check out the legal requirements, and make sure your child's going to be happy. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. Should you have any questions, reach out to me or drop a comment. Divorce is not the end of your story. As you and I already know, it is the start of your next great chapter. And with that, take care. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today's topic is really a concern for many divorced parents, and that is child custody changes after a final divorce decree. We all know that life is unpredictable and circumstances can change. So let's explore under what circumstances a court might modify a child custody arrangement after the divorce is finalized. Generally, courts prioritize stability for children. I mean, this is the principle of stability that the court system uses. A final custody decree is intended to create a predictable environment for kids. So modifying this arrangement is not taken lightly. However, we do have exceptions where a judge might consider modifying custody. To prevail, you'll need to demonstrate a substantial change in circumstances that necessitates a change to protect the child's best interest. Let's look at a few examples right here. First, might be relocation. If a parent with primary custody plans to relocate a significant distance, it might impact the other parent's access to the child. Change in parents' fitness. If a parent's health, addiction issues, or living situation jeopardizes the child's safety or well-being, custody modification might be necessary. And then you have the child's needs and preferences. As children mature, their needs and preferences evolve. The court might consider a child's expressed wishes, depending on their age and maturity, and if it, still is in the best interest of the child through the court's eyes. Now, the burden of proof really lies with you. It's going to rest on the parent seeking the modification. And this means you need to convince the judge that the current arrangement is no longer in the child's best interest and that your proposed modification is a better solution. So as we look through the modification process now, it typically involves three things. One, filing a petition. I mean, you'll need to file a petition with the court outlining the reasons for seeking a change and your proposed modification. Then there's serving the other parent. Your ex-spouse will be notified and has the opportunity to respond with their own arguments. And then you could have a hearing. The judge will consider evidence from both parties, including witness testimonies and expert evaluations if necessary, before making a decision. You could also consider mediation before resorting to court. A neutral third party can facilitate communication and help you reach a mutually agreeable solution regarding, custody changes, and that could potentially save time and emotional distress. Now, this is a very complex legal matter, so consulting with an attorney experienced in child custody modification is probably in your best interest. They can advise you on your rights, the legal requirements, and the best course of action for your specific situation. So while modifying a child custody agreement after divorce is possible, it requires a significant change in circumstances and demonstrating it's in the best interest of the kid. Carefully consider all options, including mediation, before seeking legal intervention. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, a New You After Divorce. Should you have any questions on today's topic, just let me know or leave a comment. Divorce is not the end of your story. As we already know, it is the start of your next great chapter. Until next time, all the best. Hi, and welcome back to Breaking Ties, a New You After Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today's topic is co-parenting after divorce. Divorce may end your marriage, but it doesn't end your role as a parent. So we're going to explore some effective co-parenting strategies to ensure your children thrive in this new family dynamic. Successful co-parenting means prioritizing your child's well-being above any lingering resentment or anger you might feel towards your ex-spouse. Effective communication and collaboration with them is actually quite important. Now, just like many things throughout the process and such, communication is always key. Want to be clear and consistent in that communication, though. Establish the channels with your ex that you can use and leverage. And this might involve things like email, text messages, or a co-parenting app. Maintain a professional tone and focus solely on child-related matters. Most of all, though, you still need to be respectful as well. Even if you disagree with your ex, communicate respectfully. Avoid bad-mouthing them in front of your children or using your kids as pawns in any ongoing conflict. it just is not healthy, and it does not help the situation. Now, we're going to look at some ways that you're going to collaborate together and how to build this up. So we're going to talk about this shared parenting plan. So develop a clear parenting plan that outlines custody arrangements, communication protocols, and decision-making process regarding discipline, education, and healthcare. Most of this, if not all of this, has been completed through the divorce process. So you may have to go back and lean on it, or you can talk about modifying it. Now, this plan itself also should have, some flexibility built in. Unexpected situations arise. You yourself should be flexible and willing to adjust the schedule from time to time or compromise when necessary. It's just going to make things flow smoother for your kids. And you also want to make sure we minimize conflict. Yeah, you can disagree. I mean, you did get divorced, but focus on finding solutions through compromise and avoid exposing children to the conflict. If you need to, consider mediation if communication becomes strained. Because in the end, it's about prioritizing your children's needs. You want to put your differences aside as co-parents. I mean, really, during parenting time, focus on your children. Create a positive, loving environment. Avoid discussing adult issues with your children or involving them in any parental conflict. And you can maintain traditions. I mean, if you want, I would keep some. You may not keep them all, but take what you like. And then you can come up with new ones as well. And this is going to help with the transition for your kids. Things will be, normal, but also they also will start to see that you're an individual person and you have some things you enjoy doing. So you get to share a new side of yourself with your kids. And we got positive communication with your ex about the children, shared updates about the children's activities, achievements, and any challenges they might be facing. Focus on the positive aspect of their lives. Remember, technically, you're a team, and you may not be romantically involved, but when it comes to parenting, you guys have to form a unified front. And you do that with effective communication, collaborating, and prioritizing your children's needs. And that's going to be some of those pillars of a successful co-parenting arrangement. Co-parenting isn't always easy, but keeping all this stuff in mind, you can foster a healthy and supportive environment for your children to thrive, and everybody will be able to move on and process and develop new memories for themselves and experiences. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. Should you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly or drop a comment. Divorce is not the end of your story. You already know. It's the start of your next great chapter. Take care. Good day and welcome back to Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today's topic is a tricky one. We want to navigate those relationships with your ex-in-laws after the divorce is final. Now, divorce can sever ties with your ex-spouse's family, but sometimes those bonds remain strong. So we're going to explore ways to handle these relationships moving forward. The ideal scenario might be maintaining a friendly relationship with your ex-in-laws, but that's not always possible. And here's some factors you got to consider. The nature of your relationship. Were you close with your ex-in-laws before the divorce? Do you have a history of conflict? Your ex-spouse's relationship with their family. How does your ex feel about maintaining contact with their family? Do they want to involve them in your post-divorce life? And then the presence of children. If you have children, how will their relationship with their grandparents be impacted? Now, we really want to look for a way to find the right balance. I mean, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. And so there are some things we can look at to see if it's what's going to work. And that is, limited contact. If the relationship was strained, consider limited contact on special occasions like birthdays or holidays. Parallel parenting. Maintain separate relationships with your ex-in-laws. They can see the children during their time with your ex-spouse. And then there's cordial co-parenting. If the relationship is amicable, you and your ex-spouse can co-parent with your ex-in-laws, involving them in activities or celebrations. Once again, Communication is really at the heart of this whole thing. You want to be open and honest in a conversation. Talk to your ex-spouse about your expectations regarding their family. Be honest about your feelings and prioritize the children's well-being in the discussion. And then set some boundaries. If you choose to maintain contact, establish clear boundaries to avoid uncomfortable situations. Just remember, it's your choice. Ultimately, you have the right to decide what level of contact, if any, you want with your ex-in-laws. Don't feel pressured to maintain a relationship that doesn't serve you or your children. And we're going to prioritize your well-being. Don't let awkward interactions with your ex-in-laws impact your happiness. Focus on building a fulfilling life as a single person and surrounding yourself with supportive people. So, navigating relationships with your ex-in-laws after divorce can be complex. By considering all aspects of the situation, communicate openly with your ex-spouse and prioritize your well-being. You can find a solution that works for you and your family. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, A New You After Divorce. Should you have any questions, feel free to contact me directly or leave a comment. Divorce is not the end of your story. As we know, it is the start of your next great chapter. Have a good day. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Ties, A New You After Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we're going to focus on self-care after divorce. Now, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach, so we're going to explore expanding your self-care toolbox and discovering new ways to nurture your well-being. Divorce, as we all know, is a really demanding process, both emotionally and practically. Taking care of yourself is essential to heal, regain your strength, and embrace the possibilities that lie ahead. Now, after the initial shock of divorce, self-care might feel like a chore you can't muster the energy for. That's where exploring new ideas comes in. Self-care isn't limited to bubble baths and face masks, although those can be wonderful. Wouldn't know it myself, but nonetheless, each person can also find their own self-care ideas. Now, we're going to expand our horizons, though, and there are some unconventional self-care practices to consider to kind of break out of the norm. One is creative expression. Have you always wanted to try painting, writing, or playing an instrument? Hey, this is a perfect time to unleash your creativity and explore hidden talents. There's also volunteering. Helping others can be incredibly rewarding and provide a sense of purpose. Find a cause you're passionate about and dedicate some time to volunteering. You got a digital detox in there. I mean, in this day and age, getting away from technology, taking a break from that social media, constant barrage of information. I mean, reconnect with yourself and the world around you through nature and walks, mindful breathing, or meditation. Learn a new skill. Challenge yourself by learning a new language or take a cooking class or mastering a do-it-yourself project. I mean, the sense of accomplishment and increased confidence can be incredibly empowering. And then lastly, very simply, reconnect with nature. Spend times outdoors, hiking, gardening, or simply sitting in a park can reduce stress and boost your mood. So finding what works for you shouldn't be complicated. The key is really to experiment and discover what nourishes your soul and brings you joy. Self-care isn't about following trends or mimicking others. It's about prioritizing activities that replenish your energy and make you feel like the best version of yourself. And really simply embrace the journey. Think of self-care, as a journey of self-discovery. As you evolve and grow, your self-care needs might change. Be open to exploring new practices and listen to your body and mind to find what works best for you at each stage of your journey. Divorce can be a catalyst for personal growth and positive change. Really, by embracing new self-care practices, you can nurture your well-being, rediscover your passions, and step into the future empowered and ready to embrace your new life as a single person. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, A New You After Divorce. Should you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments or reach out to me directly. Divorce is not the end of your story. As you and I know, it is the start of your next great chapter. Have a great day.